Fuel, expensive. Taxes, expensive. Life, difficult.
Angola, a land of black gold, one of Africa's largest oil producers. For decades, billions of barrels have been pumped from beneath its soil and saved. But where has that wealth gone? In 2025, Angola stands at a crossroad. Oil still flows, but the people remain stuck. And the big question echoes louder than ever. Why does an oil-rich country still import fuel? Since independence in 1975, the MPLA has ruled Angola. With the end of a brutal civil war in 2002, Angola emerged as a petroleum powerhouse. Yet, from the very beginning, oil became both its strength and its weakness. Angola produces around 1.1 million barrels per day, but it exports crude oil and imports refined fuel. That is the core contradiction of its economy. Angola has only one functioning oil refinery, the outdated Luanda refinery built in 1955. It refines less than 20% of the country's fuel needs. The rest imported at high cost. This leaves Angola vulnerable to global fuel prices and the people suffering when prices rise. The price goes up every month. We have oil but no fuel. It's like being hungry in a house full of food. That is a statement from a taxi driver. The government has long promised change. 3 major refineries have been under discussion or construction for years. Lobito Refinery, planned for 2008, restarted in 2023. Cabinda Refinery, first phase launched in 2024. Soyo Refinery, in partnership with international investors. But these projects are meant to revolutionize Angola's energy sector, but delays, corruption, and political infighting have stalled the progress. Billions were spent, but the refineries still don't run at full capacity. The state oil firm Sanango has been part of the problem, not just the solution. Poor oil money circulates in elite cycles. Ordinary Angolans bear the burden. High transport costs, food inflation, and unreliable electricity define everyday life. Everything is expensive. I spend more on charcoal and transport than on food. What is oil doing for us? As a single mother in Benguela said. In the rural provinces, fuel scarcity means no irrigation, no refrigeration, no economic growth. Angola's debt to China, Sangola's scandals. For decades, Angola borrowed heavily, mainly from China, using oil as collateral. The result, massive debt and dependency on foreign powers. Meanwhile, billions vanish into offshore accounts. It's not just about infrastructure, it's about accountability. Oil revenue should build schools, roads, and refineries, not Swiss bank accounts. President João Lourenço has promised reform since taking power in 2017. Some oil contracts has been reviewed, some ministers dismissed, but critics says the system remains untouched. This year, anger boiled over and over when the government raises fuel prices, citing the need to end subsidies. People hit the streets, saying we want jobs, not just oil. We want dignity, not deception. Young Angolans are no longer waiting. They are organizing, speaking out, demanding a nation that works for all. Despite the chaos, something is changing. Angola is investing in energy diversification, transparency, and domestic refining capacity. If completed, the new refineries would cut fuel imports by half. If managed well, oil profits could build a future beyond fuel. Angola's story is not just about oil, it's about choice. The choice between repeating the past or building a new future. The ground is rich, the people are ready. But will the leaders rise to meet the moment? From beneath the oil fields, Angola's wealth is rising. 8 people. But in this same heart of Southern Africa, Angola is a nation rich in oil. Yet 8 people are burning with anger. In July 2025, a spark ignited the streets from Luanda to Benguela, from Hambo to Cabinda. That spark, fuel prices. What began as frustration at the pump quickly turned into a mass movement, a protest against inequality, hardship, and government policy. This is the story of Angola's protests over fuel prices and why the people say enough is enough. For all we know, Angola is the second largest oil producer in sub-Saharan Africa. Each day, nearly 1.1 million barrels of crude oil flows out of this nation. But despite its riches, over 40% of Angolans live in poverty. For them, oil has become a curse, not a blessing. Angola's oil revenues are vast, but they are often lost in corruption and elite control. The wealth rarely reaches the everyday citizen. In mid-July 2025, the government of Angola, led by President João Lourenço, announced a sharp cut to fuel subsidies. Overnight, petrol prices jumped by over 50%. Before, I could afford a trip to work. Now, it takes half of my salary just for transport. As a citizen said, the government of Angola claimed the move was necessary to stabilize the economy and attract foreign investment. But for the ordinary Angolans, it felt like a betrayal. The next morning, Luanda streets were blocked. Young people, taxi drivers, teachers, market women, they all came out. The protests were not just about fuel, they were about survival. Some said, we produce oil, we suffer, we work hard, we get nothing. This is not normal. The demonstrations spread quickly. In Benguela, protesters clashed with police. In Hambo, students shut down roads. The government responded with force, tear gas, arrests, and military deployment. At the core of this crisis lies deep economic mismanagement. Angola's over-dependence on oil left its economy fragile. When global oil prices dipped, the country borrowed heavily. Now, with rising debt, the IMF stepped in, and the subsidy cuts were part of the deal. The IMF demands reform, but those reforms often hurt the poor first. That's exactly what we were seeing in Angola. Add to that rampant corruption, weak infrastructure, and rising food prices. The anger wasn't just about fuel, it was about years of broken promises. President Lourenço called for calm, urging dialogue. He promised targeted cash transfer to the poorest citizens and defended the subsidy cut as a painful but necessary. They always promise, but our lives don't change. We want actions, not words. Citizens cry out. The crackdown has only deepened mistrust. Reports of detentions, beating, and media censorships are on the rise. Civil society organizations and church leaders are demanding accountability. But amidst the chaos, there is hope. Young Angolans are organizing, calling for transparency, economic reforms, and leadership that puts people before politics. Youth leader said, "This is our country. We are tired of being voiceless. This protest is not the end, it is the beginning." As the sun sets on another day of the protest, Angola stands at a critical juncture. Will the government listen? Will the people be heard? From the oil fields to the favelas, from the street to the palace, a new chapter is being written in Angola, and the pen is in the hands of the people. Angola's struggle is not just about fuel, it's about dignity, justice, and the fight for a future that belongs to all.